Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Well, for everybody who's in the United States, this is Memorial Day, and I hope that you are having a wonderful Memorial Day. Take time to thank all the people who have sacrificed for this particular day. Just a moment, and that would be absolutely wonderful. So you have stumbled upon, if you're new here, a yarn channel. I love yarn. I love to knit. I love to crochet. I love collecting yarn. I love collecting patterns. You know, all the things that go with yarn. Pretty much that's really it. So welcome aboard. Mondays, I normally go through everything that I've worked on during the week or, had dreams of working on. You know how that goes sometimes. And some weeks there's more than others. Like last week, I didn't end up finishing anything. I had things that were on the cusp of being finished, and I worked on a lot, but nothing got done. That's because, sometimes we're working on larger projects and you just can't get something done every week. That's okay. I did finish some stuff this week. I had goals and aspirations of finishing more, but I don't know what to do with the project. I don't know. I don't know. So when I find it, I can finish it, because on that one, the only thing I have to do is sew it up, right? Okay, fine. I might have misplaced it in my messy room. That's okay. So if you saw yesterday's video, I did a second video. I don't normally do that. I did a second video talking about Lori from the Armchair Chef, her mystery yarn challenge. And that is open for signups until the day after Memorial Day, so Tuesday. So if you're watching this, as it's coming out, you've got a chance to sign up. If you're watching this significantly later, I'm sorry, you probably already missed that. But on her challenge, she has a bunch of patterns this month that you can pick from if you choose to, and make one of those for a chance at winning a prize. Just having fun, bragging rights, that stuff. I mean, it's yarn, it's projects, it's fun. So I got on board and I made this. This is one of the first things I got done. Look at that. This is a pattern by Jennifer from Cinnamon Stitches. It is a crochet tutorial. And you watch her make that little recipe. So this is her, she calls it her little wren. You can put a little wobble on it and turn it into a chicken. I left it as my cute little bluebird. This is, I don't have the ball band with me, but that is two different yarns that I used together. I held two yarns together. One was the big twist value yarn, and the other one was a yarn I got from Hirschner's that has those tufts in it. And I specifically bought this yarn to make one of the chickens from Jennifer's pattern, because she used a fluffy tufted yarn, hers has more tufts, but it's like that, you know what I'm getting at. And she said it kind of mimicked the feathers, and that's what I bought this yarn for. And you know how we have intentions? Yeah. So I bought this yarn around the same time that she first put the tutorial out. And yeah, I haven't made it until, Lori threw out the gauntlet, so to speak. And all right, so this is my first project of Mystery Yarn 624, June 2024. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to continue doing these. I really like it. She did a little shake up on the Mystery Yarn Challenge this month. So no yarn being sent out or received. It's just working on specific patterns, and there you go. So I got that one done. So I really like it. That's cute. And speaking of Mystery Yarn Challenge, right? So that is for June. I already did a simple, easy thing. My May's Mystery Yarn Challenge, I had this yarn. That's pretty. And I had this yarn as I'm pulling it out of my bag. Yeah, aren't those nice? And, oh no, I had 3 of them. Wait, and I have this yarn, and this one has sparkles in it. So I have all 3 of these gorgeous yarns. These are fingering weight yarn. I like to work with fingering weight yarn. I really do. It's really slow. It just is. I mean, come on. Each one of those, the small one didn't have that, but as a full hank, they had over 400 yards. And I do have enough of that sparkle one. I do have another ball of that, multiple little pieces. So I started my shawl on that I'm making, and I got a little farther. I'm tangled in yarn. Okay, fine. I'm just tangled in yarn. I got farther along, so I added some more of the garter stitch, which is down here past that lace. I will make this as big as I choose to. The pattern calls for 4 sections of this. And I forget the name of the pattern. I'll have it linked down below, but people have told me that it translates to affectionate or something along that line. And I think that's wonderful, but look how pretty that's going to be. That's just going to be stunning. And I'm enjoying this. I really am. I like the way that the 2 colors play together well with the striping. So that is 2 colors there. And I'm enjoying the lace. Look at that lace. Isn't that pretty? So that's going to block out really well. It's going to be stunning. And like I said, that lace has sparkle in it, has the stellina in it. And that is what I'm going with right now. It does take longer. It just does. I mean, that's okay. Some things aren't instant gratification, but you know what? 1 stitch counts. You can do it. Just be patient, relax, and don't compare yourself to anyone else because you've got this. So those are my mystery yarn challenge projects that I have going on right now. If you're following along, I'm also part of a crochet duel with Lori. Now that I can't show you. That is me working with something in bulky weight yarn. I know. Bulky weight's not my favorite. That's okay. I'm doing it. So I have started my project. I'm just not going to show that right now because we're going to do a live big reveal in July. We'll make sure that we put out the date of when it's going to be and everything, but it will be the first week of July. But so that took a bit of my time. I know you're thinking bulky. Bulky doesn't take time. Well, it does for me. First of all, I had to come up with a pattern for something in bulky weight crochet because it is a crochet duel that I wanted to go ahead and make, that I had enough yarn to do. I've had people sending me bulky weight yarn, so I'm thinking lack of bulky weight yarn is not going to be an issue. Yeah, I've been taunted. Yes, there's been some taunting going on. There's been some good gamesmanship, but that's okay. Lori's going to be getting some smaller packages too. Yes, she is. So it's just all in the fun. If you're going to get called out, this is the type of drama you want. I'm just saying, this is the fun banter drama. This is that type of stuff. So those things, that's what I've got going on that. Oh, I worked on my socks. I know, it is still May. And yes, I worked on socks. I do about 10 pair of socks a year, and I generally start ramping it up around June, July time period, a lot of times July. And then I'm really at the time crunch towards the end of the year because I give them out at Christmas. So I did start a pair of socks, and oh, I just messed up that ball of yarn. So here is, I am down to the, see, I've already turned the heel right there, but that right there is my first sock. Look at that patterning I've done in the back. So that right there just gathers it up at the heel, since that's the back right there. Makes it a little bit tighter if this is loose. It's not, but I mean, if it were, that's going to gather it up, gives it a little bit of, like I said, pattern, structure. Doesn't necessarily need to be there, but I wanted to do something fun. This yarn I got at thrift store of all places, but I know my yarns, right? This is a wool type sock yarn. I had more of this one than I did of this one, but I had plenty when you added them together to make a large pair of socks. I'll probably have a little bit left over. So enjoying the colors. And you're like, wait, you didn't get that far with that. Yes, I did. Look what I did. I started the second one. Yeah. Instead of finishing the first, because, you know, I had a feeling that I would end up with that second sock syndrome. You know what that is. That's where you make one and then you're like, I'm done. I don't want to do it again. I don't. So I am on my second sock, and where's it at? And I have started that little patterning right there. So I'm working on that. And once the two get to be, you know, that same length and everything, then I'll start alternating again back and forth. But yeah, I did that last year. I started doing my socks 2 at a time. I know you're like, that's not 2 at a time. It is. I'm making 2 socks at the same time, but I'm using my double points. I realized I really prefer my double pointed needles. if you like using needles and working the long needle and doing 2 at a time that way, or, you know, any way you do it, that's fine because it works for you. I just love the double points. It's just my preference. It's what I learned on, and I can do this stuff with a longer needle. And I'll do that for like the tops of hats and stuff like that when I don't want to go get my double points. But in general, that's not my favorite technique. I think it's fiddly, whereas other people think that the multiple double pointed needles are fiddly, right? We all have preferences. So that is just how I do mine. So lots of progress, right? I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. I got pair of socks I'm working on. I know. Let's see, another thing that I got. I didn't get a lot of progress done on this, but I did add a couple of rows. I don't know if you can tell. This is my bitty spruce that I am making for my granddaughter. Look at that. So that is working on that with the coastal cotton yarn. Do I have the other one right here? Whatever. But this is the, maybe it's over here. There it is. There it is. I found it. There you go. So, oh, this is this yarn right here. This is the Queensland Collection coastal cotton yarn, and the colorway is Green's Pool, lot 401. This is, what does it say? It's a 100% cotton, which I think is hilarious because I handed it to my husband and he likes all my other fibers better. So he acts like a cat who's hissing at things when he touches the cotton. And he's like, "You tricked me, woman, you tricked me." Yes, yes, I did. I knew he'd be like that. But this is soft. It's 185 yards. I do have that in some other colorways, and it's not as soft. So I think that it could be the dye on that. So we'll see how this works up and washes, and see how well that goes. What I like about this, it's a simple pattern. I'll have it linked down below, but it's a simple pattern, and the sleeves aren't more than just the cuff. So once I finish making this length and putting on some ribbing down at the bottom, I'll come back and just put some ribbing on each cuff of the short sleeve top, and it'll be done. And I'll be able to gift this to my granddaughter. So I think this is absolutely wonderful and so close. I should have finished it, but you know, things, yes, time, things, yes, right? We all fall prey to that. No big deal. No big deal. So like I said, I did get some more of that one done. So that's exciting. One step at a time. Speaking of granddaughters and making promises to get something done, this thing took way too long to make. This is my little Knubbelchen, and it turned out amazing. This is an ice yarn, the ice yarn prism right here that is so popular. You've probably seen it on thumbnails and things like that if you've never seen it in person, from Crystal from Bag O' Day. She loves to use this particular yarn, and she does a lot of stitch tutorials with it because it has that short color repeat. It is vibrant, it is beautiful, and it really shows up her stitches quite well, and that's why people gravitate towards it. This, the hot pink, I don't know what it is. I had a ball about like that big, right? And my granddaughter's like, "That's enough to make the hat." I knew it wasn't, but it didn't matter. So what I did is I made the brim of the hat like that, and then I did 3 rows of this and then another row of the hot pink, and I continued that until I ran out of that hot pink. So that was perfect. I mean, I used it, right? There you go. And I am loving this. This is so cute. This one, the Nubelchen is normally like a ragdoll type thing, and the only thing that is stuffed, according to the pattern, you can make it however you want, is the head. I chose to stuff the body, and I just did a light stuffing on that, just very soft, very cuddly, but that's a choice. You don't have to do it that way. But I've got the head stuffed and the body, and the Nubelchen doesn't have facial features, but I did choose to make this one look like she is sleeping, and I think it is absolutely adorable. I think my granddaughter is going to love this. It is so soft and so sweet and so cuddly, and I don't know why it took me so long. My husband commented on it too. I think I worked on it 2 or 3 days this week, and the only thing I had to do was finish the hat and sew it together. I'm not talking about making the whole thing. It was just finishing the hat. That's not that crazy. But I just wasn't feeling anything this week. There were things going on. Yes, personal stuff no one cares about, but there were stuff, right? And it really took a lot of time and attention. that's okay. It's life. That's okay. So I got my little doll done, and this just makes me so happy to finally get something done. So the plan was to finish this one, and also because she was so close. She was so close last week. And I also planned on getting the emotional support chicken done that I started in fingering weight yarn. That one's orange. When I finished the Knubbelchen, that was my goal. And I went in my room and I was like, where is it? I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at. It's in here. I just don't know where. So when I find it, I can sew it together. But there's a little key of that. I have to find it first. But so I was hoping to get 3 projects done this week, since that's the only thing I had to do was sew it together and stuff it. But the chicken's a little elusive. The chicken's on the loose. If you're not familiar, that is like one of these. This is the emotional support chicken. This is out of worsted weight yarn, and I made the other one out of fingering weight yarn, considerably smaller, still oranges. Love my oranges. I got this yarn from Elaine from Penguin Oak Crafts. I'm doing one of the mystery yarn challenges, and she also sent me the fingering weight orange that I made, the other one that I don't know where I put it. I don't know where it's at. It's in a bag or something. For that matter, it could be in this pile right next to me that you can't see. It's just like, yeah, yeah, it's fine. So that's what happens when we have plans, right? Yeah, we have plans. It's okay. Oh, I did work on something else that I was surprised at myself with. I picked this up. This is, haven't seen this one in a while. This is my Lamia Wrap. Look at that. So it's gotten quite a bit bigger. It really has. This is by Tony from TL Crafts. And so it's growing. I really like the way that this feels. I'm making this with the big twist fleck, and I am using a size K 6.5 millimeter Tunisian crochet hook. The yarn that I'm using is 85% acrylic, 10% polymade, 5% linen. There's 208 yards per 100 gram ball. This is my second ball. The last time I worked on this, I had a ball about that big, at least, of the first ball, and here is where I started the second one. So I got about from here since last time, so that's a good chunk. I'm enjoying it, surprisingly. This is my first actual, like wearable garment type Tunisian thing. I do like the way it looks, and I really like the yarn. I did find that when I'm doing the knit pickup pass row, that one, if I do it a lot for any length of time, like I was last night, I was binge watching stuff with my husband and working on it, it will affect my right wrist. So it will be done in chunks, and there you go. Don't hurt myself, right? Yeah, that's it. The pulling through pass doesn't bother my wrist, but the picking everything up the way that I'm turning, maybe it's just the way that I do things. I don't know, but I just know that I'm not going to be able to work on it extended periods of time for anything. But it's growing, and that's all that matters, right? No one says it has to be done in a certain time period. It'll be beautiful when it's done. I really like the, I'll pick that back up. This right here is called the honeycomb stitch. You're working Tunisian knits and Tunisian pearls. And then this is they call it the simple stitch. I grew up with it being called the Afghan stitch. And with this on the outside edge, it keeps it flat from not curling. Whereas you can see, if you just do the Tunisian, right, it's going to curl like that. It's just the nature of the fabric. And it's the same, when you're doing this on the edge, it's the same as putting ribbing or a seed stitch on something on a knit project, an actual knit project, to keep it from curling. And I like the use of the design on that. It's simple. It's just, you let the yarn talk. There's a lot of depth in that yarn, and it is snuggly. It's like a hug. So I'm going to look forward to that when it's finally done. Just don't know when that's going to be. That's okay. One stitch at a time. We've got this. And then I also am at the point with my blanket for my husband. Yeah, it's this one right here. I had to go get another skein of yarn. So that's good. So it's growing. And I will put down below, because I did have some comments on that. This yarn is Lion Brand Wool Ease. Had to go get another one with the ball band, right? The Lion Brand Wool Ease Fair Isle. And it says one ball. Normal price is $9.99 at Lion Brand. I did not pay that. Joanne had a fantastic sale and I overindulged. But if you did pay that, get it on sale. I mean, just saying, if you have the opportunity to get it on sale. But look at this. You've got the hat, you've got the mitts, and you have a cowl. These are knit, and there's a pattern on here for all three of them. That's a little difficult to find on Lion Brand, but I will link it down below again. But if you look at your ball band, I know you can't really see it, but right here by the cowl, it has 3 numbers on it. And when you go to the Lion Brand site, you look at those numbers and it'll bring up each one of those patterns individually. So I'll link those down below too if you wanted them, because there were some comments on that was difficult to find. And you're right. If you're just Googling it and what have you and doing the search for it, you're not going to find them. But if you follow the numbers on it, you will find them. That's what I had to do. So I'll link those just for your ease. But for that matter, one ball, worsted weight yarn, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It's 150 grams. Let's see, how many yards is in this thing? 150 grams, 348 yards, 318 meters. That's the usage of it. Knitting, it says use a 5 millimeter, size 8, 5 millimeters, and a J hook, 6 millimeter hook. So there we go. And I'm using an 8 on mine. And let me see if I can pull this up over here. So this is my blanket and it's growing. Like I said, it's not done yet. It'll be done when my husband says it's done. Yeah. It's about 60 inches wide and it'll be done when it's as long as he wants it to cover his feet and cover his head and whatever. So somewhere between 72, he's 6'1". So somewhere between 72 inches and 90 inches, probably closer to the 90. We'll see when I actually get it. Because if he's just going to be sitting on the couch and not have his head covered and just from the neck and down to his feet, somewhere around the 72 plus will be fine. Don't know, but there you go. This is a simple, easy pattern. It's not really a pattern, kind of. As you can see the squares in there, it's a basket weave. So what I'm doing is 10 stitches are knit and then 10 purl. And then I continue that with the 10 stitches for 10 rows. And then I switch. So what I was knitting before I'm purling, when I was purling before I'm knitting. And that's how that is. So that doesn't make them as a complete square like this. They're more squat like that because the stitches are not as high as they are wide. So there you go. So I am ready for my next skein of yarn, and I'm also ready to wind this for my husband's sweater. It is right there at the collar. I have to wind this. I'll use some of this and then go back into the charcoal and finish off the collar for that. And his sweater is from the Viking Knits book. It is my second sweater worked on for this book. This is another 50 Search Press book. I'm really enjoying their publications lately. I really am. Let's see if I can find that picture of the Norse sweater. Probably not. Oh, but okay. So we've got the Papa sweater. That's the first one that I made for him out of this book. And I made that with green, a lovely green color. And this is the sweater that I'm working on right now. And that is the Norse sweater. So I am right up here, and like I said, it just goes into a crew neck style. Here we go, here's another picture of it, that crew neck style. So I'm really close with his sweater. I just have to wind the yarn, and he's like, woman, wind the yarn, I want my sweater. I mean, I can't blame him. It's getting ready to get really warm. Okay, so it's about 72 degrees today, whatever. But he's gonna enjoy it. Anytime I get it done, he will end up wearing it, and it's made with love. He's happy. I'm happy. That's just all there is to it. Let's see. What else did I work on this week? I know there was other stuff. Oh, I know. I've got all those squares for Camp Boggy Creek, and I was talking about different ways of edging them. I didn't finish any of it because, you know, I'm practicing. I'm playing. So I was looking at with this yellows, because I have 4 of the yellow squares, right? And see that with the black on that? So starting to do the black, and then I got the 1 round of it and I was practicing with this. And I don't know if I like this. Look at that. So it's got the big bobbles. Well, remember when I'm putting 4 together, and if I put them together like this and I do all the squares together the same, these are going to line up, right? So what I did is I just built up on it. This will get pulled out, right? So it's not all the way around. But I was practicing without having to go all the way around and do it and rip it all out if I didn't like it. So that is one way, because my husband was like, well, just do something like that and little bumblebees on the edge. It's not really bumblebees, but they're big bobbles, and I thought they were cute. And I was planning on doing that with the hot pink, the cyan blue, you know, putting those colors. And he's like, no, do it with yellow. I don't know. So let me know on that one, because I've got to pull that out anyway. Because, you know, I just did the part of the rows and back and forth on that. So I do have to pull that out. Can't leave it as is. I can do the same pattern if I choose to, but that can't stay the way that it is. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that border for that, for all of the squares that I'm looking at, to make more of a bumblebee-ish style, or something that's fun and unique. I did find some really fun appliques that I can go ahead and knit and or crochet, depending on what the applique is. So I can add those to the squares. So, you know, working on those things. Yeah, just one step at a time. My applique board of all my flowers has not grown, and I think when I clean my room, I'm going to find my chicken, and I'm going to find my other leaves, and I'm going to find those other things. But I think what's really going to happen is I'm going to make other embellishments instead of actually cleaning my room, and the chicken will be found when it's found. Probably when I'm looking for something else, I'll find the chicken, because that's how that goes, and I can work on that then. What else do I have that I can show you? Let me see what I've got around here, because everything is like piled around me. I think that's what I have that I can show right now, because like I said, I am working on my bulky project. I said bulky knit. It's not knit. I'm crocheting. It's a crochet duel. I am working on that. I can't show you that yet. So that's what I got done this week. That's what I've been up to. I'm a little surprised, because there were definitely days where I didn't do anything but cuddle the yarn. I did not at all. It just, no. Because some days are like that. And just cuddling the yarn is comfortable, even if I don't make anything, right? Because we all have stuff. We'll just leave it at that. We all have stuff. Sometimes stuff gets in the way. And this week, stuff definitely got in the way. But that's okay. We're still here. We're still talking to each other. We're still playing with the yarn. We're still enjoying life, and that's what matters. With that, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.